um, I'm gonna create an empty framework. I mean, whole new framework from scratch. Very quickly though. And we'll be mostly working on the Grubhub app. I mean, we could work on other apps too, but everything works in the same, in the same manner. Um, you might be able to find things a lot easier on Mac compared to some things I'll be showing you. So if you're actually using a Mac and still do not have your environment set up, you'll have an easier way out for some things. It's just the way. By Mac, I mean. But one, I mean the inspector. Two, I mean the when you'll be using iOS to test your iPhone's basically an iPhone simulator to test your apps and cases. There'll be things that'll be a lot easier for you. I'll tell you what I mean by that. Um, yeah, I might create a user interface too, just to show you how it might look like. So first things first, let's create a new project. It's going to be a Maven project, obviously, and I know let's call it com. Um, Artifact ID. What do we call it? Let's call it GH app something. There we go. And finish. New window. So we can always get rid of the source file since we're not going to be using it. Now the root pom XML, so you obviously need some dependencies, right? So let's take a look at what we need. Let me just copy this really quick and let's go over them. So testng, obviously you'll be needing the testng dependency. The next one is the Appium. So this is for Appium. So you need this dependency if you would like to utilize the Appium driver. And lastly, I'm using MySQL. So if you want to add any databases, to connect to your projects, you could just add whatever dependency is for the corresponding database, Oracle, Mongo, and MySQL. So that's a very simple dependency tree over here. So we have our framework now. We need to create a bunch of modules, right? So the first one will be obviously generic. Um, and let's create it. So that's your generic framework. You have a source folder, and then in your POM XML, obviously you need to add dependencies. Let me just grab them from here, and they're basically the same dependencies you have in your root, right? Root, which is this one right here, except that there's no version in this one. So you do the same thing here, except you get rid of the version. So changes. Uh, so now you can basically go back to your modules. So whichever new modules you create, you can just list the dependencies as your generic module. So it'll just grab all the dependencies from there. Okay, now in your main file. So since we'll be only working with so this is your common API, right? Common API. This will only contain. So what we will be doing is basically only be creating like the desired capabilities to connect to Appium driver for Android emulators. So we're not using a real device. We're not going to be using tablets or anything as such. So all we're going to be doing is grabbing the dependencies for um, just a regular emulator. So let's open this up. It's not that much different if you want to grab like an iOS device, or it's just you just have to change a bunch of you just have to change the variables over here. That's why we declare them at class level. So in each method, you can have a separate value to them. So what are the variables what are the variables we are describing at class level, right? So that's the Appium driver, AD. So that's basically like your web driver, right? So just like in how you have your public static web driver, we have Appium driver for this. Device name, just a string device name for the device you'll be finding. To be honest, you can leave this null in Windows because of ADB. Now, I'll go into that in a bit. Why this can be left null here, but not in, for instance, if you're using a Mac, then you would have to actually put the device name here. If you're running Appium from command line, version. Now, as you can see, when you create your emulators, so let's open up our emulators, right? Let me run command. So Android AVD. We'll be using N3. All right, so let me close this and let's open up this. Oops, don't save. So basically, you have these bunch of emulators right now. First of all, I would recommend using Nexus 4 over Nexus 5 because it's a lot faster. It will also put a lot less load on your computer. So you can emulate it a lot faster if you use Nexus 4 compared to the 5. Now, as you can see, the platform says 5.0.1, but if you try to run it using 5.0.1, it'll tell you that the device found was actually 5.0.2. So that's something you would probably need to take a look at, is that even though you set it as 5.0.1, it will recognize it as 5.0.2. Now, I don't know how that's so different for Mac, but that's how it is in Windows. If you're using the graphical version of Appium, then you don't even need to bother with this because you can actually manually select it. If you're gonna run it from command line though, you would have to set this over here. Okay. So next thing, so you know you have device name, version, and your app directory, which is a file type. App directory would be the directory where your app is located, right? So over here in generic, we can create a new directory called Grubhub app. And inside of here, you will be pasting your app, right? So you just need to actually, let me grab it from here. So make sure you rename it whenever you download it. Rename it so it doesn't have any full stops in it. So it doesn't have any. Otherwise, it'll give you issues. So it can be named anything, but it shouldn't have periods inside of it. So let's copy this and just paste it here. Now you can see, you know, it has all these things inside of it. We don't have to touch that, so let's get rid of this. Now let's go back to our source and our common API, right? So this app directory will be pointing to where your apps are, basically. So in this case, Grubhub is in this path right here. Right now, we're just setting it to null because we're declaring at class level and not exactly at inside a method. Next is find app. Now, find app is also a file type, and it will search for the app you're using. So basically, you can have multiple apps in this, right? So you would need to, I mean, if your module runs for like a bunch of different apps, well, in this case, actually, this is wrong. I shouldn't be putting it here. Or should I? I shouldn't be putting it here. So I'll put this in, I'll copy it later out. But it doesn't matter where this is, actually. It really doesn't. But just for, you know, it could be here, it could be anywhere. It doesn't matter. But I'll put it inside the Grubhub module when we create that in a bit. So that's basically the purpose of having this variable find app. And desired capabilities, it's you have to have this. So this will describe the capabilities of your Android driver. What exactly are we, you know, what exactly it's, sorry, not Android driver, but Appium driver. What exactly it's looking for, and, you know, your versions, your, where you're connecting, which ports, and things like that. So let's go and copy the next part of our code, which is basically the before method where you'll be, where you'll be calling the driver and setting up your environment for Appium. So, it's a before method, so this will be executed first, and right. So then it's easier to set up driver. Oh, Bilal, by the way, I found something interesting about scrolling up and down. We'll go over that a little later. How to, well, scroll to, yeah, I use that, but there are other ways. Those are very simple, basic. You can just scroll to text, right? Um, there are other ways, but then I believe in Android it gives you issues. So we'll go over that in a bit. Yep. So right. So once you create your setup method, so you need to now start telling, hey, what is what. So your Appium driver, obviously, right now we're not using it. So your app directory. So basically, where's your app? So you right click and you can copy the path. There are other ways to get to word this, but this is the most easiest, most common. So you could just use this, and then it'll grab the directory where your app resides. In this case, I'll probably have to change this in a bit, and this is so. As I was saying, your find app will basically be so now. You create a new file, and then you're pointing to the directory where the file is, and you're saying, "Hey, this is the file I want." And then cap, which would be your desired capabilities, and then you just need to set some capabilities for the Appium drivers. So in this case, your device name, which it'll take from here. So in this case, we have N3. You can set these as parameters, so um, you can actually just decide what you want to use in your XML runner. That's why I said this is a very simple setup for now. And then next thing is the platform. So the desired capability, set capability, and mobile capability type, platform name, and the platform is Android. And platform version, which you'll be grabbing from right here, 5.0.2. Next thing is setting up the capability to find the app. So then you'll get the find app from the find app file type we created, and then it's going to get the absolute path for the app. Next, this is setting up the connection to your Appium. Basically, this is the port number, and then this is for timeout if you can't connect to the app fast enough. So I put 25 seconds because it was really slow for me in the beginning, but now that yesterday I believe Bilal said the Nexus 4 works better, so now it's a lot faster. So you could probably decrease that. What else do we need? I think all we need is a teardown method, right? So you can, so you're basically your after method, right? Which will be ad driver.quick, but I believe you can also do ad.closeApp. So you close the app first, and then you can quit the driver. So that's the basic setup of how you would be connecting to your Appium. Now let's create a module for our app and call it Grubhub. And we can send this inside of this. Okay. Why can't we move it? Okay, let's copy it then. And let's get rid of this. Please tell me I'll delete it. Go. Interesting. Okay, let's ignore this for now. Just I think it's because I'll have to probably close IntelliJ and open it again. Close it, delete it, and then open it for this to work. So for now, I'm just gonna give this path right here. This will be useless, but I'll get rid of it later. Okay, so all we have to do is give the directory. Why didn't it copy the path properly? Let's check again. copy path, paste the path, okay, and there you go. And our app's name is CodeUp, so it's gonna grab the app from here now. So here. So by default, it doesn't set this to a source file, so we'd have to do that through the project structures. Let's see. Wait, why is this in a module by itself? Okay, that's different. Source, and this should be our test folder. Okay. And we can get rid of that. Okay. So you can just put this in here. Okay. So what next? Now, to see how exactly we'll be. So, for Apple users, I'm pretty sure you can use the Appium to grab it. But I'll be using the Android UI Automator Viewer, and uh, you can use the Appium inspector, but it's not very efficient. It'll also you'd have to keep on. It has a 90-second close down. I'm pretty sure you can change that somewhere, but I haven't really looked into it, and I didn't really like it all that much. So I've been using the UI Automator Viewer, which you can, if you have your environment variable set up, you can just run it through your command line. Um, so let's open up our app. So you see, it's a lot faster when I'm using the N4. Credit goes to Bilal for letting me know. Let's import the changes. Let's log out first. And let's close the app. That's weird. It doesn't show me the home page. Why? Login, sign up, but this is not how it really opens up. Uh, that's why it might be different. Shit. Press back. That's gonna take us to home screen. If you open this, it's gonna take us to that menu. It should stop here because this is where you log in, but it's not stopping here even though I logged out. Interesting. Press search. Tell us what you think. So let's start this, and let's actually open up here. Nexus 4. That's the name of your device. Nexus 4. Let's see if it works here. Okay, there we go. Somehow it worked. I don't know why, but oh, I've been running it from command line. It's a lot better. I've been using the command line. I'm just using this to check this. For some reason, when I open the app, it's not showing me this page right here. This is the page I need if I want to log in. So let's refresh our inspector here, and so for this is the layout. So you'll be able to grab in your login and whatnot. But if you don't want to use this, you can open up your UI inspector and grab the screenshot. And I gotta close this and open it up again. Let's close this. Let's refresh this before it closes down. So yeah, let's try to grab reason. Okay. So it won't allow me to grab it when I'm running the inspector window. So that's fine. So some things, you might have to use the Appium inspector to grab. For instance, when I open the app from the machine manually, it doesn't show me this page right here. But I need this in order to log in. So if you scroll all the way down, this is the hierarchy. So eventually you'll get to something that's similar to what you want. So for instance, I want what do I want? I want this second. Let's go login. What is this? Let's go. Let's go, and I want the login, which is right here. You see, it says login, content description, login. So how would we grab the expat? Now, one way would be just using this right here, Android widget button, which is not very recommended. The next thing would be by name. By name works if you're using this Appium right here from this is the older version, right? So by name works on this one, but if you're using by name using the command line, which will be in a bit, it's not going to work for you. For some reason, but it doesn't take by name. It only takes by expat or by ID or by content description, things like that. So, what is a good way to actually grab the expat for this? So I have a little cheat sheet over here. So this is you can create sort of create your own expat since it's not generated for you. So expat using class name and text attribute, right? So what would you do? This inside here, this would be an expat, right? Inside this right here. So as I said, 2 /, your class name. So what is your class name here? Our class name is Android.widget.button, right? When you highlight over this right here. So that's your class name. And what is your text? Text, as you can see over here, already a member login. So that'll be your text. So basically, let me show you inside our program how you would be clicking on that. So let's go to our Hub module. Is this the wrong one? Yes, this is the wrong project. So let's go inside our GrubHub module and create a new package called, I don't know. Let's call it, since I usually put my logins into common methods, so let's call it common methods. And inside common methods, you could say another class called common methods for GrubHub, right? So, right. Yeah, it's true. It is good practice. It makes you understand it a lot better, like what exactly you're doing, how you're accessing it, and creating your own expat. So that's one of the ways. There are actually a bunch of different ways you can do that. You can grab the expat. So let's do this for the first. Wait, why can't I do find by? Yeah, I'll post that on Dropbox. Let me extend common API. Interesting. Generic source main Java. Oh, okay. I need to put this into a package. Utilities and send this inside of here. Now let's go here and extends common AP. How come? Do I have it spelled wrong? Why can't I extend this? That's the source, right? Generic. Oh, no wonder. Did I add the dependencies here? No. So I have to add the dependency here too. But I don't think that should be an issue. First, let's do that. Let me go back here and grab the dependencies. No, it's the wrong one. Okay. Actually, the group ID and stuff should be different for this anyway. Let's copy this and we'll change this. Right? What is it? I forgot. Group ID is. No. Okay, there you go. But still, this should let me extend it. Why isn't it letting me extend it? Common API. What the hell? Let's see. Source, main. Yeah. Yeah, there'll be a number test which you would be calling it. Why can't I access this class? No, if you say enable auto import, you don't really have to. Um, I don't think it's the dependencies though. You should still be able to. Ah, there you go. It is the dependencies. Okay, I was wrong. Yeah, I just clicked on enable auto import and then yep, it should do it automatically. So yeah, there we go. Now we can access our common API. So what's the next step? So we're going to create element, right? So find by how is how dot xpath, right? So we need to import this and xpath. Okay, xpath. There we go. Using so what did our cheat sheet say? 2 / class name, right? Which is not this, obviously. Let's go back to our UI inspector. So this is the class name right here, which it says class. So you copy this all the way here, and you can paste it right here. Next, let me just copy that thing. So next would be at. So you would have this, and then you would put in the text inside here. So here. And the text would be, in our case, you can just copy paste it from here, which is already a member login. And there you go. So that's your XPath. And we'll say public static web element and call it what? Login button? Right. So this should be it, if I'm not mistaken. No mistakes anywhere. So right. So right now we should be able to access this login button. Now, by the time we go back, we can see that the Appium driver just fell asleep, and if you refresh it, it's going to give you an error. Now we actually don't need to use this Appium driver anymore, so we can get rid of it. I only needed it to grab the screen over here. I created this. I'm going to post it on Dropbox, so you can access it. So briefly going over this. So how what are the other ways? So this was one. XPath using class and text attribute, right? Um, So class name and text attribute. So these are the two things you'll be using in this one. Next is expat using class and resource ID. So class name and the resource ID, but you need to make sure this resource ID is unique. If it's not unique, I would not recommend using it. Um, or at least the combination of the class plus the resource ID is unique. So um, generally, you would find out it's unique if it has anything related. If you take a look at the name, here it says welcome login message button. So in this case, it's probably unique, but you never know. There might be another welcome login message button, something with the same resource ID. So you have to make sure it's unique. Next thing is you could use three different things to actually locate your element, which is the class, the text, and the resource ID. So what you would do, you do two forward slashes, class name, and then contains resource ID and text. So this is how you would set this up. So this is using three different attributes, right? Your class name, your text, and then your resource ID. Next is just the text and the index. Yes, that's correct, Paul. All of the struggle is because we're using the Appium inspector in Windows. Yep. So that's what I'm briefly. But this is also good for you because I believe the Appium inspector. I'm not sure how exactly it looks like. I haven't paid too much. Oh, it's not very bad because I saw it was really long. So you could actually shorten it if you want to use these ones. Uh, this is not bad for practice. So, but obviously, if you're provided, then why would you even go over this trouble over here? All this should, yeah. So, right. So using class, text attribute, and resource ID, you can grab using that as well. And then the next option you have is using class, text attribute, and the index. So class name is text, and index would be this index right here. So this I haven't really tested. From what I see, it might be 1, 2, and 3 rather than 0, 1, and 2. But I haven't tried this yet. So we might try this in a bit and see how it works. But I would recommend not using index on Windows machine at all because for some reason the XPath given to me from Mac it wasn't working. It wasn't working, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. So I would recommend maybe trying it out, but don't go into indexes. It's not really all that helpful. So this is the way I believe Mac generates it. So class name. I'm not sure if they put at index is equal to whatever, and then yeah, it is like this. But it's a little different. I believe the index you only put it inside of these two brackets instead of typing all of this out. I'm not sure. But so this way you can say, hey, the parent class name, now the parent class name for this is this one right here. So the child are underneath it. So this is the parent and these are the child. So the parent class name and the parent at wherever the index is for the parent. For in this case, the index says it's 1. And then the slash class name for the child. Now the child, if in this case is login button, it would be index 2. And then the lastly, it's expat using the content description. So class name, add content description, and then inside of here you would put the content description, which in this case is login. We should probably have used that because it makes more sense. Content description says login rather than already a member login. You would be better using this. But anyway, since we already used that, so let's go with this now. So this is basically how you would be using your creating your XPaths inside of. So it is class name and then index. So it's like this, I guess, in Mac: class name, index, and then child class and index. Right. So this one would yes, index too. So yeah, right. Okay. So this one I believe is grabbing like a bunch of elements because the second one doesn't really have an index, right? To grab all the childs, right? Okay, so yeah, that's basically how you generate XPath. I would recommend using this over anything else because if you don't have a text to go with, you have other options. You have resource IDs. You have content description. You have multiple. If you have something with the same class name and same text, you can go take it up a notch and bring in the resource ID as well. Sorry, yeah, the resource ID as well. If the resource ID is in there, then content description. So any one of these would probably end up working for you. Um, how you, no color? What do you mean by that? How you do no color? I'm not sure. What does that do? Oh, by the way, let me actually let me unmute a few people.
Unmuted.
Yeah, I unmuted you, Paul. If you want to ask something, that's it. Uh, yeah, I can hear you, but it's a little. It seems like you're talking from very far away. Uh, oh, this right here. It's right here. Log no colors. This. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's how it starts up. That's how it starts up. So this is a message from the debugger from Appium. I'm not sure what exactly it means by that. Log no colors. Oh, no. I think this is part of like its own capabilities, but I didn't describe any capabilities for colors. Maybe that's why it says log no colors, because from my what I see, these are all the capabilities I'm providing it from my Java, right? But here I don't know what this is doing right here. So this is something the Appium debugger is it's just creating on its own. And then when it goes to this one, info console log level debug, that's when you can actually run the inspector and try to connect to the server. Or no, it just shows you. Yeah. Um, I'm not sure. Are you talking about the colors, like how to change this? Oh, and oh, okay. Appium settings, or this one here. You mean inside the emulator under login? I'll have to stop this. Let me stop. Okay. Yeah. Let me stop this and let's take a look. So here. Oh, okay. Quiet logging, use colors. But this, I can't really click on this. Why? Kind of logging one would prefer quiet logging. Use colors, show timestamps. Log to file, log to webhook, and use local timestamp. But yeah, this is automatically grayed out, so you can't really use this at all. Oh no, that's fine. It's fine. I never really paid attention to that. As long as it worked, it's like whatever. All right, let's get rid of this. And so, another thing I would recommend you guys doing is log the and ignore the color of it. I see what you mean. Okay. Include that in the log file so it ignores all that color stuff. If you guys have Node.js installed, something I was showing yesterday, I'll post the link in again. So if you go over here and say Node.js, right? get this and download the version 6.9.5 and install it. I'm pretty sure all of you have done this already. This is for Windows users. Uh, Once you get this, go to the command line and type this npm install Appium, and this will install the latest Appium. But it'll be command line based. So how would you run it? After it installs it, just type in Appium, and it should start the listener. It waits for commands um, from your program. It'll run using your Java code. Uh, Come on, it takes some time usually. So let's close this one since we don't need it anymore. I believe we don't need it. Do we? Actually, I think we still need this. I need to still grab a few things, so let's play it again. Uh, yeah, it's already in use. Let me close this. I tried that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It says. So let's see. So if I stop this, right? Let me stop that. And so how would I even run the app from here? So when I do Appium, right? When I click on Appium, it just runs the listener. Could not rest. Oh, okay. Let's try that. I need to close this. I think it's. I need to close this as well first. I need to close that too. Yeah, it's still saying. Let's try running it again. Shoot. Do you have anything else running? So, you're unmuted, by the way. You can start from GUI and stop immediately. You can just talk. It'll be easier.
Furqan.
Hey,
It'll be easier for you, right?
right,
All right, so you want to go to your the Appium GUI?
right. I'm launching it right now. Right here.
All
Right?
right, so click play and then click stop right away. So you see those parameters over there right after main.js. Start
Um,
copying from dash dash address. That's like the
Here.
third line from top.
Right here.
Yes, exactly. All the way till log no color.
Okay.
Copy this.
Mm-hmm.
If this is working for you, it's going to work for the Appium 1.6.3 as well. Go to your command,
Okay. Let me open command.
Appium space control V.
Control B. Oh, V.
Yeah, paste.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Enter.
Fingers crossed. Oh, you're right. Okay. Interesting.
So instead of you using all these parameters yourself, you're just going to copy and paste it from there. You just, set it using the GUI and copy it. You can even change the app name and everything. So just make the changes in the menus over there. Start it, stop it, copy everything, and then start it like this. So it's running already for you. Now you go back in your GUI.
And click on the inspector.
Yeah, click on the inspector. So it's going to try to communicate with the server, which is running in the background, the 1.6.3. It kind of is,
Fail to connect.
it's running. Well, it kind of works for me.
Yeah. Let's
Try
see.
the server 0.0.0. I think maybe
Okay.
that would work.
Uh,
That's exactly how I do it on Mac. I even tried
um,
it yesterday.
0.0.0 you're saying instead of 1?
Yeah, all zeros.
Okay, let me run this again.
So you can just say Control C. It's gonna stop it right here.
Oh, Control C stops it. Okay, I was trying to figure that out. Whoops.
Whenever you have a process running in command, you just say Control C. It's gonna terminate it.
Okay.
So you instead of going up, you'll have to kind of go, back. Uh, even now. Control C, Paul. C.
Control C. Yeah.
So yes,
Can
this
I go
is
up? No, I can't. No.
no.
Oh God, this is annoying.
Yeah.
All right, let's go all the way back.
Or you can just paste this somewhere in your text file in a
All
notepad. Just
right, that would
open up.
be. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. The 47.
And zero dot even replace 127 with the
Oh,
zero.
0, 0, 0. Okay.
Yeah.
So was it 0, 0, 0? Oh, sorry,
Zero
0.
dot zero dot zero dot zero. So four zeros. That basically means localhost. So
Localhost. Right.
enter.
Um, let's see. Nope. Give me an error.
No.
Error. Listen. Ear. Whatever. Et.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. All right. I'll try to figure this out on Windows as well. This is exactly how I do it on my Mac. It kind of works
It
really,
works on
really
Mac.
well.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? Were you able to find out why exactly it doesn't grab the emulator? Um, I know it was something to do with Android.
Yes,
AD.
ADB, that's kind of how the way it tries to, grab the name of the emulator.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of change something in Android Studio 2. And Android Studio 2, I believe, came after 1.5.3. So
Sorry.
this is kind of fixed in 1.6.3.
Actually, it's not. I tried running it. It doesn't.
Really?
Yeah. So the issue, well, at least I think that's the issue. ADB. If I type in ADB devices, right?
Yeah, it should give
Now,
you.
right now it shows me this, right? Now, if I close this, ADB devices.
You would have nothing over there.
Right, so that's the issue. That's what I assume because when your Appium is running, it goes to ADB. It says, "Hey, show me a list of devices," but here it says nothing.
I
So,
even tried, changing the name from Nexus to emulator. Even
right,
that
not
doesn't
work.
work.
No,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't. Yep, I tried that as well.
Yeah.
So I assume that's the issue is because it's not showing any devices attached over here. So it says, hey, you don't have any devices, give me some devices. But when you have the emulator running, it shows you lists of devices. It's not supposed to do that, I assume. It's supposed to show a list of devices attached at all times.
No, no,
Oh, really?
no. It's only supposed to show you if there's an available device somewhere, a real
Hmm.
device or an emulator or whatever the kind of device is available. Only that is when it will show you devices. Not,
Oh,
I mean, you can have hundreds of virtual machines in your computer. I mean, it's not going to list all of those.
oh,
Only
right. But
that would be running at the moment when you're running this command.
did you try it in Mac, like showing? Did you try running ADB devices, and does it show all the
Yes.
devices, or it shows nothing
No,
at all?
no,
No.
it only shows the ones that are running. Or if
Oh,
I've attached a physical device, a real device,
right.
then it should come up as well.
That should come up as well. Should.
Yes.
I thought I was like maybe that's the issue, but then that still yeah still doesn't make.
But I don't know why it's working for me in Mac and not for you. I believe my command is a bit longer as well. Let me just see.
Oh,
What
one more thing. Remember about the scrolling? How
Yes.
you are able. So in Android, you're not able to scroll down by itself by using the X path, are you? Or can you use it?
In Android, using the scroll to
So
element. I mean, basically that's how I'm kind of trying to scroll it. But I noticed it tries to go up and then it goes down kind of
right,
idea.
right. It goes. Sometimes it flicks back and forth. It
Yeah,
worked in one example for me. I haven't. In another example, it didn't work. It kept on going up
it's
and
not.
down.
Yeah, it's not the best solution. I think so too. I
Right.
mean,
So the
yeah,
difference between iOS and Android. So in Android, if you look at the inspector, it only shows you the elements on
yeah.
the current screen,
One
right?
page.
One page,
Yes.
right? So in iOS, I believe it shows you all of them. So if you're
Yep.
using the iOS device simulator,
It's basically the way it's how the XML it shows the XML. It shows in
right?
iOS the XML. It gives you the XML for the entire thing, or I think up to 10 pages or something like that. But for Android, it only generates XML for one page that is
Or
viewable.
that's
And
viewable currently.
another stupid thing, whenever you kind of scroll down, the elements are still going to start from the beginning. So, I mean, if I was able to see 10 elements, Then I
Hmm.
scroll down and I see next five elements. So the top one is still gonna be the first one.
Oh
So
wow.
it was really tough. Uh, so this is what I'm using for my, what I'm, the one that I'm passing mine. So you see over there where you have dash dash app, you replace that with your app path. Uh,
Right,
I guess try this. And then even, okay, this is for New York Post. So I'm even, mentioning the wait for package and everything.
right.
Do you want to go back in your Appium and try, your capabilities and stuff like that? But I mean, if it's working over there, the inspector with that server, it should work with these over here as well. I don't know.
Um, yeah, I'm not sure why it doesn't
You
work.
can you can go back. I'll try it with my Windows machine and see if I can come up with it. Maybe I'll show it tomorrow, and by tomorrow, hopefully, I would have something like working, 1.6.3 on Windows as well. I'll try it out.
That would be perfect.
It would make life so much easier because it is faster and so much more stable. With the
Oh, definitely.
1.6.3, you always it get some random issues, random exceptions, random errors.
Right. So remember how I wasn't able to launch the app? So the issue was it was trying to rename a file, but it wasn't able to do it. So I started running 1.613, it was doing it just fine. So
Yeah. So
such
1.6.3, they've fixed a lot of things, removed a lot of bugs.
bugs. But they
Yeah.
removed the inspector. I think the inspector is a huge issue for these
It
guys.
is, but it's working for me. I was able to use the inspector from 1.5.3 with 1.6.3 server. There must be a way for you to use the same thing in Windows. I believe it's just the parameters that we're trying to pass right now.
That might be the
Something to
case.
do with it, maybe. All right, you go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's fine. It's very informative. For me, at least. I'm not sure if anyone else is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I think This gets saved in the log, so I'm gonna try this later on. The pre-launch debug log spacing.
You,
I'll try
you
that.
can see, what we're doing here. So the app
Right.
package, wait package. This is all that we try, set up in the GUI as well.
In the GUI, right? So you do it using these commands because don't really have a user interface to interact with.
Yes. You can even create a JSON file and just pass that one file, config file, which would have all of these, configuration parameters that you can just, pass one file to Appium. So
Mm-hmm.
Appium space config.json, and
Right.
it's gonna run all those whatever configurations are gonna be inside the file.
Oh,
So that's another
so
way of,
it's.
yeah, that's another way of going about it as well.
I see. I see. Okay. Yeah. That also. So this is based running on JSON. JSON.
Yes.
Okay. I see. I see. Pre-launch. Okay, so yeah, I'll try that. I'll try that after the session. Hopefully, it works. I mean, if it works, that's a huge because the difference between the Appium Inspector, well, the main difference between the UI Automator Viewer and the Appium Inspector is that the Appium Inspector actually shows you the web elements, so you're actually
Yes.
able to grab those. But this doesn't. This doesn't
Yeah.
grab the hybrid.
Yeah,
Uh,
UI Automator is okay-ish, but even the Appium Inspector for Windows is still, I think, a better choice.
It is a better choice, but if it's usable, sometimes it won't run the app. So what are you going to do then? That's why
Yeah,
I had to work around this automated view. So it's fine until you encounter anything that's you know embedded using web applications.
yeah. You can try afterwards. Hopefully, it should work.
I
I'll
hope it
try to look at the
does.
link where I read it, and I'll send. If I'm able to find it, I'll send you. It has a lot more explanation than I'm going over right now.
Okay, that would be perfect.
It make more sense.
Yep. All right. Let's see. So sorry guys, we kind of jumped off track. So let's go back to our. So what we're doing, we just grabbed the login button for now, right? So let's run the app again. I hope it runs. Right. So let's open up our inspector uh, and not this inspector. Where's my inspector? Let's refresh this. Sorry, I have so many things open. Close this. Oh, this won't work. I'm not. I need to launch. So, you would need to launch. You always need to launch the device first. If you're using Windows, you always need to launch the device. Otherwise, it's not never going to recognize it. Let's go back. Again, because of, and not one. Okay, so we're using N3, and let's launch it. Now let's actually play this. It should be able to pick up the device as long as it's running. Um, okay, I think we can open the inspector now. Did we close the old one? No, let's open this inspector and let's refresh. So now it's gonna try to connect to this. This might give an error since the machine's not fully loaded yet. Okay, there we go, and it's gonna open up your Grubhub app. Uh, it's so slow. Come on. All right, so what is the next thing we want to do now? We already grabbed this element, right? So let's click on login. And once you do, you can now refresh your inspector and you'll be able to grab these new fields. So once you refresh on it, so what exactly do we need here? We need three things. We need the email field, we need the password field, and we need the login button, right? So this we'll have to figure out. So where exactly is all of this? So you keep on going down in the hierarchy till you come across the elements. Let's keep on going, and here. You can see this Android widget that says Android edit text. So edit text basically means that you can edit the text inside of that field. So uh, now you have login. So if you take a look at the resource ID, it says login email edit text underscore text. So this is very likely a very unique resource ID, so you might be able to use this. So now let's go back to our programs and it's this one and create another. So find by how is equal to how.xpath and using so 2 and let's use so what does the text say? Android at graph. So this is not a good way. This is not a good thing to grab because the text that's showing is Android at grubhub.com, and well, you technically can't really clear it either because it's invisible. So you can't really. So UI Automator Viewer, when it goes to field, it always tries to clear the text that's initially present in it, or at least I think it does. But if it's an invisible element, it won't be able to. So you still might be able to use text, but in this case, let's use the content description. So where is it? It's this one right here. So let's this and so what is our class name again? So let's go back to our inspector and let's take a look at our class name. So our class name in this is Android widget edit text, right? So let's copy that and let's paste it. Okay, now the next thing is the content description we need. Let's get rid of this. That extra. Okay, so what is our content description? It's well, actually, it's the resource ID. Well, you could use the content description. Actually, since the resource ID looks better, let's use the resource ID. So let me grab this right here. So this is upon your choice. Whatever you want to use. You want to use content description, that's fine. Resource ID, that's fine. Just that make sure it's unique. It's not something too clunky. Something that's being repeated. So in this case, we just have to copy paste the resource ID inside of this, which is um, this thing right here. So let's copy it all the way to text and paste it inside. So the resource ID contains com.grubhub Android ID / login email edit text. So that's our XPath, and let's create an element, an email field. Whoops, I forgot to say it's a web element. Okay. So right now we should be able to click on the email field. I'm sorry, send keys to the email field. So what else can we do now? What else do we need to do? Not can do, but we need to do. Where's our inspector? It's right here. So next is we need to grab this password field, right? So as you can see, this says text view login. This is the password label. So password label, it means wherever it's saying, hey, password, enter your, so hey, enter your password. So that password field, that's the label. So this is not the thing you want. The next thing you can see, it says it's another edit text. Now edit text means basically you can send text inside those fields, right? So the content description says password field. So basically this is what you're looking. For your web element naming, I recommend you have type of button sign in. Text field username. Off text field username. Oh, okay, yeah. So login button, login email field. So a field is where you can send in data. For instance, like this, where you're entering your email would be a field, and button, for instance, that login button over here. Although this is now you see, I already have a login button here, so I probably need to change this to like a login link or something.
No, I was just saying wherever you have like the type of element, you start off with that. So in that way, whenever you're referring to buttons, you would start off with BTN and then the name of the button. So if
Oh,
it's a
okay.
link, you
So
would say
field name.
LNK. Yeah, so start off with the type of the with the fields that you have. For this, for instance, you can use TF, as in text field, or for the button.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So text field,
So
email.
all, yeah, username maybe, right? Or email, whatever. I mean, where depending on where you're using it. So
Right.
this would be easier because whenever, I mean, if you have more than one fields, so if you want to if you want to call one of the fields, so you say
Mm-hmm.
TF, and it's going to list all your fields. So you select just one of them.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
And I mean, but for this, you can just say BTN for all your buttons, and
Right.
then you can have sign in or login, or link login. So that would mean link all of the links.
Links.
That would also be simpler for you to understand later when you are, interacting with it. So with link, you will be clicking on it. So all the TF, you will be sending the text to it. So I mean, that would, it would be kind of helpful, and
Very,
would
very actually
kind of, standard across, across the board for you.
for you, right? So that's actually very very smart and very good thing. It has everything. It keeps everything orderly. It's like yeah, that makes sense.
Basically, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's a very, very good suggestion. So if you guys, I'm just gonna repeat it. So what Bilal was saying is that if you have a button, you should probably name it the button. So button, right? You could, whatever annotation you want to use for your button. You could be this, or it could be this, right? Obviously, usually they use BTN, I believe. I'm not, at least that's what I use, but I think I saw this somewhere that they usually like to use
Yeah,
BTN for
BTN
button.
is pretty common.
Very common, right? So if you use, so for instance here, when I create the login button, I'll show you what I mean. But for instance here, we have the email field, right? So it's a text field. You can send text to it. So TF email, basically text field email. So wherever you'll be sending, where you can send keys and wherever it's a field where you can send text, you can use a TF in front of it. so that once you're searching for a particular text field, all you have to do is press TF, and then you have all the options available to you. This is very, very good for keeping track of what is what, which element is doing what exactly. So, like I had it in the end, it wouldn't really show you everything. If you typed in, because I'm typing the name of the field before the type of the field. So if you type the type before rather than after, it's going to give you a list of all the fields available. I mean, all the different types of, I mean, not types, but all the different types of the same field. If if
This
that's not.
may not be, this may not be making a lot of sense over here, but consider a sign-up form where you would have a lot of, fields for your name, your last name, first name, last name, all of those. So TF name, so TF first name or TF last name. So basically, I mean, it would make a lot more sense when your tests are gonna grow, or your page factory is gonna grow.
Oh,
So it would
yep,
be a lot simpler if we have a habit of typing it this way or naming it this way.
definitely. Yep, that's a very good point. Okay, so yeah, so that's our text field for email, and then we need to create one for our password, right? So how is equal to how.expath again? Using so what are we using in this case? So we used, what did we use? We used resource ID, right? So I believe the resource ID is pretty unique for this one too. So you see, it says login, password, edit text. So this is a pretty solid resource ID. So you should probably use resource ID in this case as well. So let's copy the class name. Let's put in two of these and the class name. Okay, make sure there's no space in between. There you go. And it contains the resource ID, right? So let's copy this and let's paste it here. Shoot. There we go. Now, need a comma here, and there you go. Now you add the resource ID inside of it, and we're good to go. And close it. Okay, so that's for our password field. It looks ridiculously long, but trust me, this is pretty decent. I mean, this is one of the good ways to actually create an XPath. It looks really long, but you could probably change it to text. But I think this is a lot better for you to use over using text. In this case, it doesn't even have text, so what are you going to use in here? You might be able to use content description. That actually sounds really good too. Password field. Um, so public static web element, and we say text field password in this case, right? And there we go. So we have our three web elements. So what do we have? We have the login button link, so which we will be clicking as soon as we open up the app. And the next thing would be, going to text field for email, sending our keys, and then text field for password and sending our keys, and clicking on the login button. So that's the last thing we need here, which is the login button right here. You can kind of see that it is the login button by the name of the class. It says Android widget button, and then it says login. So this would give you an idea that you're actually referring to this login button over here. So what do we use in this case? Let's use content description. What does it say here? So it says login button. So I think, yeah, this is decent. Let's use the content description for this one. So find by how.xpath, and using. So now let's go back to our cheat sheet, and this time we use content description. So here. Okay, so I believe I'm missing this. Okay. Now let's grab the stuff we need. So the class name is Android widget button, and the description is login button. space in between. There we go. So public static, of course. What element? And what is this? This is the button, right? So button login. There you go. Okay. Now, so we created our common API. Now, to create a I mean, not common API, but we created all the elements we need to log in, right? So now we need to obviously create a method that does all of this stuff for us. So public void. So what we could say, we could call it just login. Okay, and what do we do here? So um, a few things we could do. We could either send it manually or we could use a database. I'm pretty sure everybody knows how to use the database. So otherwise, I would have to. I mean, I can copy all of my database file here, but I think we can just send the keys manually for now. But you could set up that's an Excel file or a database to grab information. So what is the first thing we need to do here? We need to click on the login link, right? So login link.click, and the next thing is we need to send keys to the email field. So email dot send keys, right? And we'll be sending in our emails. So I believe that's the email. There you go, at gmail.com. And the next thing we'll be doing is sending keys to the password field, right? So TF password. So you see, very convenient. As soon as you press TF, you know that you're getting only the text field, so you can select select whichever the one you need. So in this case we need password and send keys, and I believe that's the password. Okay. So these. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that, definitely. I'll do that in a bit. So now the last thing we need to do is click on the login button, right? So button login dot click. So there you go. That's like a test case. Like you could use this as a test case to see if you can log in properly, right? So let's go to our test folder and test login. Oh well, that doesn't look too nice. Oh well. Let's leave it like that for now. Um, so here test public void test test login. I think that's fine. Yeah. Okay. What do we need here? So we can extend our common methods here. Extends common methods. There you go. Um, so a few things. You would need to initialize your page factory, right? So that's the first thing we'll be doing. Let's do that. So what is the class name? Common methods, and let's call it cm is equal to new. Sorry, not new, but page factory. Your Appium driver and your class name, which is common methods dot class. Now you can just directly call in the login, and yeah, it's not. Oh, okay, I'm not using a database. So I think all we need to do is create a resource file. So I gotta copy all that stuff from here. So runner is basically very similar to the one in what you call it. It's very similar to the runner in your web automation. So you can just copy all that stuff and it'll work just fine. So what do we call it? Grubhub test runner XML, and it did not create an XML file. Oh, it's because actually I need to change this to resources. So source, test, and resources. So these are our test resources. Oh, it already was test resources. Ah, interesting. Okay, let's create file, XML. Okay, there we go. And you copy your stuff in here. We don't need this. Grab up tests, and this is fine. So what is our class we're using? We're using test login, right? So test login dot test login. There we go. I'm not missing anything, right? Let's see. Common API. So let's open up our Appium, not through this, but let's open it up through command line. No, actually, I mean, yes, you could do that. So, it seems a little redundant what I'm doing here. Why am I creating an object? So the problem is, if you're creating web elements, you always have to initialize the page factory. If I was not creating any elements, I would just be able to do this and not this up here. But since I'm creating web elements inside of here, which is these are all web elements, right? I mean, these are all web elements. So whenever you do something like this, whenever you do find by and you create web elements, you always need to initialize the page factory because if you do that, it initializes these elements to these expat values, and then that's how it proceeds. Otherwise, it'll give you when it goes to that particular when it looks, whenever you're calling this here, it'll give you a null pointer exception because you're passing. Product when creating Appium driver. Yeah, that's true. That's the reason we'll be able to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But if you, well, in this case, if you actually leave this null, this will give you an error. But if you were to use the graphical version, it actually doesn't give you error because you set it up over there. Um, but if I'm to leave this empty, if it'll give me an error. It says, "Hey, device name is null." And if I'm to say this version is 5.0.1, it's also gonna give me an error. It says, "Hey, your device has 5.0.2." I'm not sure why, but I guess it's using 5.0.2. So let's is our Appium running? So yeah, our Appium HTTP interface listener started, right? Um, Actually, Bilal, could it be that the change the text?
Okay, you don't need the parameters. Those are basically optional. So in case, as part of our desired capabilities, if we or set capability,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, mobile capability in this case, if we are not to pass anything, if it doesn't, let's say we set a couple of optional arguments. We pass the arguments while we are running the server in the Appium space, blah blah blah, all the commands.
Right, right.
So in one of those, we will be mentioning the device name. And over here, if you don't pass the device name, so it would mean it would say, okay, if I'm not getting the one from there, that would mean I would use the one that was provided to me while running the server. So those are basically optional. Whatever as part of this, when you're trying to when you're trying to create the driver, whatever you will be passing, if you have already passed these commands, these arguments, is just going to replace them. And
Okay.
if any one of these are missing, it'll use the ones that have already been passed. So, I mean, if you just say Appium and don't say anything afterwards, it will start the server and wait for you to pass the capabilities afterwards.
Uh,
So it should kind of run. Are you getting some kind of error with that, or is it?
like for instance, but then you said I can actually just comment this out, right? The device name, it should still run if I
Then,
don't.
if you pass the device name over there, then you can comment it over here. Yes.
Yes.
But
So,
why don't you pass the device name from here? I mean,
oh no, that is what I'm doing. But
yeah.
if I'm to leave this empty, it'll be null, right? So
It
this will give me an error. It says, hey, you need to actually
No,
pass the
it would
device.
not be null. It would still be, passing a driver name. It would, sorry, a device name. It would be overwriting, which you've already passed as part of your, capabilities when creating the driver. So if you're saying Appium space dash dash device name
Mm-hmm.
space N3, so over
Right.
there, it's basically waiting for you to, create a device. with the sorry, create a driver with the device name of that. But if you're saying null over here, you need to comment out the part over there down there as well.
Right down there as well. Right, right. So that okay.
Otherwise, it's basically it's replacing whatever you've already mentioned over there. And
There.
if
Right.
you're not mentioning over here, then you need to start the server by passing that argument. So
Argument.
you'll be saying Appium space dash dash device name space N3.
Also, I'm not sure, but I think it also checks the ADB if it has any available. So if you don't pass anything here, that's where it goes, and you know,
Yes.
it
Yeah.
goes and check, hey, do you have any devices available which I might be able to use, and then it grabs those as well. Uh,
Basically.
yep. So that's how right now that's how it's operating. It does not look actually. If I'm to change the name here and call it N10 or something, I don't have a device named N10, right? It still works just fine.
So which one is going to load? N3 or mean which one?
N3, whatever is running currently, that's what it's
So,
gonna load.
exactly. So if it's running and if it doesn't find the name, the device name, then it's just going to use whatever is available, the
Available.
connected one. If you pass the parameter of launching the device and forcing it, then it's going to run it no matter how many devices are connected or how many emulators are running. So
Right.
it would still run if you're passing it and you're forcing it to run it in that specific one.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But still, it's still buggy over here, so we can't really demonstrate it perfectly, like by what we mean. Um, if it were to actually grab the device you're listing here, even though you have separate emulators running, then that would actually show. But I can't do it, right? Since it doesn't work that way on
No,
Windows.
you should be able to change it to N3 and it should, and if even if if you close it, um okay, then what you need to do is if the emulator is not running in your when you're creating the server, you know what you need to pass, you need to say launch avd and okay, yeah, so you say appium space dash dash,
Mm-hmm.
so you can terminate that one. So you go back in your command,
Control C.
control C, yeah, and now you say appium space dash dash abd space quotation double quotes and the name N3 and close the quote and enter it. So this now means that you launch the AVD. You know how you click that you check it launch AVD and then you select it. So this is what it's going to do now.
Oh,
You
okay.
see over there, so default capabilities AVD N3. This is, see how it's setting one of the default capabilities of AVD as N3. So
N3.
if you're not to pass this capability, then it's just going to take this one, which you aren't in your case. When you're creating the driver, you're not
Right, right.
passing. You're not telling it to launch the AVD. You're
Mm-hmm.
telling it to look out for the device.
Right,
Uh,
right.
Basically, that's kind of the idea. I don't know if I was kind of confusing or not.
Oh, no, 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 that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Now, if you run it and close the emulator and then you run your test, it should start the emulator.
Let's see.
And device name, change it to N3.
Oh yeah. There. Okay, so where's my runner? Right here. Let's run.
And if you want to avoid doing that over there, you can have another capability over here, in which you would be the name of the capability would be AVD, and in which you would be specifying the name of the AVD you wanted to run with. In your case, N3.
Launching emulator with AVDN3. Getting connected devices, getting connected. Oh, it actually did not running. Okay, now it's running.
Wait for it. Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay, then it worked. There you go. So that was the issue, right? Let's see.
So basically, it requires few capabilities in order to run the test. If you know where you're specifying to launch the AVD, then it's just gonna wait for the AVD to to be available, to be made available rather than starting it itself if it's
So,
not there.
right. But then, so then there's an issue with the 1.5.3 then? Is
Sort
it
of. It's
okay,
kind of buggy.
buggy. So over here, if you set if you tell it to launch this AVD, it's going to launch it. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I see, I see.
again, if you want to avoid it over here, you can pass that capability as part of your driver when you're creating the
Driver.
driver.
Right, right. So it would be something like .avd or something.
Yes. So you want to go back in your okay? Let's just let it finish this test because I know it's going to take a lot of resources.
Okay, so it just clicked on the login button. Now it's technically supposed to send your email. There you go, and it's going to send your password. Uh, Come on. There you go, and it's going to click on login, and there you go, your test passed. So basically, we just created a simple test case which lets us log in, right? And our test passed.
So you see over there as part of your so what you do over there, somewhere in between there you say cap dot set capability.
Mm-hmm. Oh, whoops.
Just copy the above line, same thing. Just change and then yeah, you say mobile capability type dot avd. Do you have something like that over there?
No. Let's see. Android. Nope.
All right, no, just there's another way. When you are passing something which is not listed over there, uh, are you doing it with some other capability?
Um, Not really actually. It should be here though because maybe it's launch.
Okay, let's see. Launch, yeah, maybe.
No, it's launch timeout.
No, no, it should just be,
Maybe.
okay, even in your web capabilities, there are certain capabilities, let's say the browser name that you have, a class, an option for,
Right.
but there are others for which, you just kind of pass it, just like that. So you tell it the kind of you're passing.
Oh, so
So
you create one.
yeah, so maybe erase it.
Okay.
Uh,
Erase.
is there somewhere you're, kind of device name, mobile platform, Android. You want to move your mouse around? I just want to see what. Okay, let me just open up mine. Let me see if I'm, sending something
Similar.
uh, like a custom capability, which is, not part of it. Uh, okay, maybe, I'll look into this as well.
Maybe you can actually. What if you said desired capabilities? I don't know if you created. Well, no, this is off the type.
No,
Never
you're already doing desired capabilities. You just
mind.
want to, pass custom, which is
A
not,
custom, like maybe you might be able to create a class which has all the properties regarding it. So, and then.
You'll have an idea if you go into one of your web driver where you are creating a web driver.
Hmm.
Over there you will see that you are kind of are you gonna open one of your okay? Are you doing it? No, I'm
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm doing.
okay.
Opening one with the WebDriver, which should open up separately somewhere here. There you go. So,
So
what's
so where you are creating your web driver.
that's the WebDriver. So, um,
So okay, scroll down. Maybe where you're creating a local driver.
well, that's the cloud driver. No, but for the local driver,
Even over there, you
it's
see it said capability platform, comma OS. So okay,
uh,
just say set capability, and then instead of
oh,
mobile capability, you say AVD in commas, and then
uh-huh.
you pass either pass a
Oh,
variable name.
okay, okay. So you're saying here, let's see. So, so you're setting your own capabilities, but
Yes.
set capabilities, and then
No, no, you've already done that. So just in commas, you say AVD in
uh,
quotation marks. Yeah, say AVD, and then comma. And again, in either you set up a variable up there and name
or
it there, or you just say n3.
actually, I could just call device name again, right?
Yeah, in your
Because
case, it's the same.
yeah, it's the same. It's device name. Let's try
Now
this.
you
Uh,
can go back, terminate your Appium server that is running, and then run it again without passing the AVD argument.
Yes. So if I just type in Appium, it's not taking any desired capabilities, right?
Yes.
Only if you okay. So
And make sure you close the emulator. Make sure it's not running because you want to try to run it as part of your test.
it's closed, right? Yeah, it's closed. I don't see it open. Nope. Okay, now let's try running it again. Oh, so here you're setting a custom capability. Yes. Uh,
So
oh,
there are more than these main capabilities that you're passing as part of your driver creating process. Appium server requires more capabilities than you are passing. So the ones that are missing, you just specify either over there, or you specify over here. And
over
if you're providing less capabilities as part of your driver, then you can assume that you've already provided those capabilities as part of your server. So when you're trying to run the server, you provided, so it did run, right?
Yeah, it did run. That's perfect. That's really good.
You
Okay.
kind of understood, I mean, how these
Oh
are
yeah,
the
yeah, definitely. I
when you
see what you
create the
mean.
server, those are optional capabilities that you're providing. If it gets something like that from the test, it's just going to replace that. So let's say you run your server with saying AVD N4, and in your test you say N3. Then it won't launch N4, it's going to launch N3 because those are the optional ones. And if it doesn't receive any capability like that, it only then it's going to run that server. But if you pass it as you pass as your part of your test, that's the one it's going to run.
So it always has some defaults, so you're just overriding using your
Basic, yes,
yeah,
yes.
their option right there. That's really good. So for instance, if so you can't really custom. So AVD is also part of it, right? It's not you're actually not creating a custom capability. Um,
Mm,
AVD is
no,
actually part of
uh,
it. I mean, as
yeah.
in it probably has as we did earlier, dash dash AVD. So
There,
that is
there could be a number of capabilities, custom capabilities created by the server,
server.
and you just need to know which ones to pass. So let's say when we're dealing with the source labs, it would sometimes, or maybe we're dealing with browser stack, it requires us to send us the resolution as well. So that's not something that would be part of it, but you can create it. They created it as part of the server. The server is expecting something like that. Again, there's a default value and then there's an optional value. So if you are not going to provide it, it's just going to use the default one, whatever the default is set for them,
Right.
as part of their server creating process. But if you want to use your own, then you use that capability and you pass it, kind of idea.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It does. So I see. So now this question mark in my head. Are you going? Yeah, this is still.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is basically what we're doing. This is UI from scratch. Did you get lost somewhere? You can ignore the APM talk. It's like that's.
Yeah, you can just ignore, me interrupting and be us both talking. So whoever can benefit from it, that's good. But I mean, don't get confused with whatever we're talking. Me and
Right.
Furqan.
We're just finding more ways to mess around with that thing rather than having to, like let's say we're finding ways of being lazier.
But if you do understand this, I mean, it's just gonna help you understand the process more.
Mm,
It's gonna clear more things for you, how
more
the
things,
entire process works.
right? So, well, actually, let me unmute you. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. It's that Mohammed Rashid. So you're unmuted. So if you're lost somewhere, you can go ahead and ask me, and I'll clarify.
My question I had was because when he was doing the mobile automation framework, yeah, we did the page factory and all that, but he made like a folder for each like tab or like it looked like a list of folders and stuff.
Oh,
You know what
okay.
I'm
So
talking?
I'm going. So that'll be our next step. So basically, I think you're saying the UI, right?
Yeah,
The yeah,
yeah.
user interface. So I'll
Yeah.
go into that in yeah, that's the next thing. So right now we just created a simple common method that lets us log in, and then we kind of got sidetracked, but this is that's all we did for now. So what we did, we sent some some capabilities. basically these two things you would need, right? So that's what we're good. So these two things you always need to pass. I don't think you'll grab. You can pass it from. Actually, don't just pass it from here. Don't worry about the command line. Don't if you're having if you see like this is a little annoying, or since you don't really have anywhere to click, or you would probably have to run a bunch of custom commands. You can always run it from your Appium, like the GUI version, this one. But my recommendation would be at least to just start Appium from there and then run your code, because the thing is, this is for me. This is a lot more convenient. The other thing starts crashing randomly. It doesn't operate properly. So this is the reason why I'm doing this on this command line version of it. And yeah, Bilal's actually. So I believe you do have a Mac, right? So Bilal is going to go over everything for Mac users. I think Herman also needs help with a few things, setting up environment variables and stuff for Mac. Actually, I might also install the virtual machine today, so I can try to follow tomorrow. Right. So yeah. So basically, the purpose of this command line is just because it's more efficient. It runs without any errors. It's the latest version. Um, so so far, what did we do? We just created methods, elements to get to the login, like just click and login. So now we do not need the Appium Inspector for Windows users. That is, you can now start using the UI Inspector. Obviously, the Appium Inspector is still better in some aspects, but the good thing about UI Inspector is that you can just open up the app and start doing things. So let's open up the app, and let's also open up the Appium Inspector.
Furqan, do try, installing Mac on your virtual machine, just to get a taste of it, to get the hang of it, so that later you can say confidently that you know how to kind of operate a Mac as well.
That's what I was thinking. So I heard that you're gonna go over all the settings and everything tomorrow for Mac.
Ooh.
You. I know a bunch of people still need help setting up their environment, so I'll probably be one of those people too. So if you can just briefly go over it, I just need like
Yeah,
the bash
yeah.
profile and stuff. I'm not very, familiar to Unix syntax, or I'm not sure if bash profile is. I believe that's Unix, right?
And same here, Bilal, because I'm a Windows user, but obviously recently my sister did buy a Mac, so Mafi expects me to do mobile automation on Mac, and I have no idea how to use it or set up environment variables or nothing like that. So if you could show us tomorrow, that'd be great.
He knows you guys. Yep. Now he expects you to do in both Xcode and Android. That's why I didn't buy a Mac. So at least I'll be, I don't have to do Xcode. Practice on Mac. Okay, so after you log in, basically this is the page you should be seeing, right? So what is one thing you can do? So in the UI Automator Viewer for Windows users, actually same for, I believe this should also run on Mac too. So Windows or Mac, you can just click on this small icon that says take a screenshot, and now you can grab all the elements that's currently on your screen, right? So we want to kind of navigate to the settings menu. What is this? It's this button right here. If you do you see that the difference between the inspector in Appium and this inspector right here? You can actually tap over things and it'll bring you down to the hierarchy wherever it is. So if I'm to go to this, so this is the menu button. So this is what I'm trying to click right now, and it actually takes me to that class, and it says, hey, this is the class. That's the package. That's the content description. It doesn't have text. It doesn't have a resource ID. So in this case, which one of the XPath creators we can use? We can use this one, XPath using content description, because this has a content description which says open navigation drawer. So let's create an XPath for that. Now, this is where we can start creating a UI. So, well, not exact. Well, actually, yeah, we can. So let's go back and let's. Where is it? Our Grubhub app. Okay, it's right here. So in our source, we can now create a new over here. We can create a new package and call it UI, right? And inside that UI, we can create a main class and call it uh, navigation, navigate menu or something. Navigate menu. So we're going to navigate through the menu, and so first thing we need is, before we navigate through anything, we still need to click on this button, right? So let's create an element for that. So add find by how is equal to how.xpath, export that and xpath using. So what are we using? We're using this one right here because that's for from what I see, that's the only two things available to us: the class as burger button. So the class, the Android widget image button, and then um, okay. So let's copy this and let's use this content description using this right here. Um, just notice I kind of messed up a little here. So there should be one over here too. So make sure I might edit it before I send it to Dropbox, or uh, so I'm gonna edit this before I paste it on the Dropbox because from what I see, I forgot to add a hyphen over here. So okay, so content description. Um, so the class name is Android widget image button, which we will be putting inside over here. Class name. And the content description over here is open navigation drawer. Okay, so now public static web element. What are we going to call this? We're going to call it the button menu. I think menu is good. So it's the menu button. Okay, let's call it button burger. Let's call it button burger. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so we always need to click that before we access any other element, right? So let's go back to our emulator and let's click on it. So this has a bunch of um, this has a bunch of different elements you can actually see. It says what? Learn about Grubhub, log out, contact us, blah blah blah. So this is where we'll start at. We'll have to create a UI. Now let's first of all, before anything, get a screenshot of this. This will only show us elements all the way to contact us. So let's take a screenshot and let's see if we can actually retrieve everything inside of a list. So we need scheduled order. So this would be this right here would be your to change your name, email, and everything. Actually, I already have this. I already created a UI for this, but this has a lot of elements. But let's try grabbing all of this into a list. So let's see where all of this is stored. Let's maximize this and let's see. It's stored separately. So I believe it's stored in the list view. Where is this stored? This is not stored in the list view. So this is when it gets really confusing, is that you don't know exactly. So scheduled orders, track your order, favorites, past orders, start afresh, gift cards, and contact us. All of this is stored inside list view. Now you see um, the problem here is that you only get all the elements till here. So if you were running, for instance, an iPhone simulator, it will give you all the elements all the way till your logon button. But that's the downside of the Android emulators, is that it doesn't, or Android inspector viewers, I believe. I think it has to do with the inspector. The inspectors is that it only with the inspectors, right? Or just the Android emulators. Okay, it's the Androids, right? So it's the Android in general. Okay. So that's a huge issue. So we can either create this. We can either create this in what you call it. We can either create this in parts. So we'd have two lists. One grabs all the way to contact us, from scheduled orders to contact us, and the other list would grab anything underneath that, which would be tell us what you think, learn about Grubhub, and log out. Now the problem is, even if you get the screenshot for this, you would still be seeing all these elements over here. So we'll see how that looks. I believe we can work something around it. So um, create a single page. That's how they're designed. Okay. So let's grab. So before anything, we still need this one element up here. So we have scheduled orders in here, but we don't have this. So we probably still need to create a single element for this one on top, which is, let's see where this is. So this whole thing. We could either click here, we could click this, we could click this, we could actually even click this too. Um, so let's, I don't know which one to click. We could click this. Let's click on this right here. So the text is this, the resource ID is this, and that's the class. So what is a good thing we could use here? So the content description says username, and the resource ID says nav underscore username. I'm not sure if that's really a good thing to use. Let's see, what could we use? Let's just use this one right here, text, or let's just use the content description. I think content description is better because username. Um, yeah, content description is better because username makes more sense than the actual name I have over there, which is very weird. Testing change first name. Yeah, it looks unique. It does. Yeah, it does look unique. So let's use that. So let's go back and let's say add find by. Actually, let me just copy the button burger. So let's click on that, and now let's change the class name. So class name is text view, and the content description is username. Okay, and what should we call this? So I believe these are all the settings. So we could say button settings. Yeah, let's call it button account settings because these are the account settings, right? It's not the general. Let's call account setting or link, right? Link would be better. Link user account. Okay, let's use that. Okay, so that's one. Now we need to grab all these in the list, right? So how do we do that? So let's see. What is the track your order, favorites, linear? So that's the parent, right? The parent is the parent is the class name called Android widget.list. And these are all the children, right? So from index 0 all the way to index 6. I believe you can grab it using, I don't think I added that, did I? Actually, this right here. Using parent and child class hierarchy. So all the child of this parent are linear layout and list view. List view is the parent and linear layout is the child. Um, so now there's another issue here. If anything before that has the similar structure, it has a list view and a linear layout, it's going to give you an error. Um, let's try it out. If it works, it works. It doesn't work, it doesn't work. So the class name for that is Android widget list view, and we're going to do. I'm not sure what. So the index is 1, so let's try that. I'm not sure if that's going to work, but let's see. If it doesn't work, we might have to create separate elements for each and everything and just click on that instead. But let's see. So let's create an array list of web elements. So we're going to describe it at the class level. Yeah, I'll have to use a longer XPath. Yep. So I'd have to go so I'd have to go back to its ancestors, another ancestor back. So in this case, the list view is under relative layout, right? No, it's not under relative layout. It is under relative layout. So now the ancestor of list view is relative layout. This one right here, or is it? Or is it this one? No, it's not. Oh, it's this one right here. So it's this one right here, which is also relative layout, so it doesn't matter. So this is the ancestor of this list view here. So if I'm able to grab all these elements using list view and linear layout classes, then that would be fine. But if I can't, I'd have to go an ancestor back, which is relative layout. So it would be. So let's see if this works. So list elements, all elements. Let's call it all. I'm just calling it all elements for now, and then new array list. Actually, let's name it something proper. So elements from button burger, from button burger. Okay, there you go. List menu items. List menu items. Wait, menu? I thought it was called button burger. List from burger. No, doesn't that make more sense? Okay. So now let's create a method which we can call in each and every. So let's call it public void. And sorry, public void get all what? Menu items. Let's call it menu items. Let's get all menu items. And inside here we can actually say list menu items is equal to ad dot find element. Whoops. I need to extend my base. Extend this comment. We want to. Okay. Yeah, get menu items. Okay. So ad dot find elements by dot xpath. And then inside here we'll be adding the XPath, right? So in this case, 2 forward slashes, class name, and then at index, right? So let me copy that. So what is the index we're using here? So the index is basically this right here. So let's try this. Wait, did I get the right class name? Let's try index 1 and let's see if it works. I don't think I got the right class name. I gotta change that. So the class name here is Android widget list. There we go. And now we need that's the parent, right? That's the parent. Now we need the child. So how are we gonna add the child? So we need a 1 forward slash and then class name and index. So this can go on forever, however long you want the hierarchy to be. So there you go. And right now one thing. So the class name here. So the class name here is linear layout for all of them, right? So we use this, and we don't put any index here. So let's try not putting any index because we want to grab all the elements. If you specify an index, then it's going to grab all of them. So let's just try this right here. This should work, right? Or do I need to actually add the? This should work, right? Okay. And the semicolon. But it's giving me an error. Oh, because I'm missing. Come on, man, don't do this. Oh. Okay. There you go. Okay. So now if we're getting everything correctly, that means Currently, in this list, what we'll have is we'll be able to access scheduled orders, track your order, favorite, past orders, start fresh, gift cards, and contact us. So very quickly, let's actually test one. So let's go back to UI and create another package. And we'll call that package scheduled orders, okay? Scheduled orders. And let's put a UI in the end. So the class, I'm going to name it scheduled orders. Right, so now in the navigation menu, you can create a method which returns that class we just created, which is scheduled orders, right? And we could call it scheduled orders UI schedule. Okay, for the same reason, right? Let's do that. Refactor, rename, and let's call it UI scheduled orders. Yep, you're right. Refactored, and there you go. UI scheduled orders. There you go. So first UI and then the name. Um, Now scheduled orders. So let's say you scheduled orders. Now what does that U stand for? That's the U for the first letter of UI. I don't want to call it UI scheduled orders because it would be too similar to the package name. Actually, that should be fine. Uh, yeah, U scheduled. Yep. Actually, it's a method, so the first U should be lowercase and then scheduled order. Isn't that better? If I leave all the U's lowercase first, because okay. So, now, so we are returning this scheduled orders class, and how are we going to access it? So, first of all, we need to click on that button burger we created. So, buttonburger.click, click, and the next thing we need to do is okay, we're not accessing that yet, so we are going to try to access our list. So, list menu items dot get at index 0 dot click. So once we store all those elements inside of this list, our index 0 by default should have scheduled orders, and then we should be able to click on it. Next thing we need to do is we need to return the type. So we need to return scheduled orders. So if you're if you're saying if you're storing all the right, I forgot about that. So before so after burger click, yeah, I could do that. So I need to say get menu items. There you go. Yep, I need to call this, otherwise this give me a null pointer exception. Not yeah, it should probably give a null pointer. I'm not sure. Okay. Now we should be able to grab everything. Let's see if this works. The only thing I'm doubtful about is this here. It works really weirdly. So for Android at least, I tried using it for other elements. It didn't work. Let's hope it works. Let's go to test and create a new test and call it Java package, and let's just call it UI because UI. Actually, let's call it UI testing. The UI testing. And then inside Java class, and what are we going to test? We're going to be testing scheduled orders, right? So let's call it testing scheduled orders. Yep, there we go. Okay, now in here we can first extend our navigate menu. You could extend scheduled orders, actually that would be better. So if this extends navigate menu, and what's giving me that? Interesting. Oh, I might have duplicate names somewhere. Do I? Oh, what the? It's Control Z. What happened here? That's weird. What happened? So navigate menu, but it's giving me an error. Why? Did I create a class inside of class? No, not at all. Not at all, Bilal. No, not at all. I think we all appreciate your presence. I'm just confused what's happening here. I have a feeling it's okay. So forget about this. Let's not extend anything here. So we can just extend this navigation menu. I'm not sure what happened, why it's doing that. Let's extend navigate menu, and now we should be able to access our elements. So at test, so public void testing schedule orders, right? Yeah. Since we're using lowercase, we should be fine here. So what do we need? So first of all, we need to log in, right? So since we need to log in, you would have to initialize the common methods first, since we are creating elements in our login in the inside the class that inside the page factory we used well, your common methods page factory. So ad comma common methods dot th dot class. So we initialize that, and we can actually directly call that login method right away. And there we go. So we need to log in. The next thing we need to do is initialize the page factory for navigation menu, since we're also creating elements in that, right? Navigate menu, and oh, I misspelled that. 1 second, guys. Okay, let's go back here. So let's just call it nm. We're just creating object, and let's call it page factory dot init elements and ad, and let's go back to navigate menu dot class. So another page factory we have to create here for your navigate menu, just because we have elements there. Now, what is the method we're going to access here? So we are trying to access from navigate menu. We're trying to get use scheduled orders, right? So use scheduled orders returns the scheduled orders type, which is another class inside here. So if you were actually to go inside and actually make a method called public void do something, right? And let's see magic here. So now let's call that method called scheduled. What was it? Order u. Okay. Shoot, I forgot. Was it a lowercase u? Why can't I access it? This because navigate menu. Actually, I should probably extend navigate menu and not common method. That'd be a lot better. Okay, navigate menu, and now we can access u schedule orders, right? And once we access that, if you press on a period, you can actually access that method inside of schedule orders. So from navigate menu, you're going directly to schedule order, and you can even access whatever is inside schedule order. This is not going to do anything. It's just an empty method. Just for an example, what's the purpose of creating a UI? So you have this hierarchy, right? You're navigating from one place to another. So just like you have this hierarchy, you have a hierarchy here as well. So this should technically this is supposed to work if everything is working fine. Let's see. Oh, I need to add the class. So let's get rid of this. And let's say a class name What is that? UI, right? No, test UI testing. UI test. Okay. Yeah, UI testing. Why aren't you just giving me UI testing? Oh, did I just mess up? Cancel. Did I just mess up? Yeah, I created it inside this. Let me remove this side. This side.
Move everything, move everything.
Oh, cancel it. Um, wait. Where did it go? UI testing, right? Okay. Okay. So let's move everything. Okay. There we go. Now we should have it here. There you go. Dot testing. Okay. Now let's try running it. Let's see what happens. Wait, do I have Appium running? I do. So, oh wait, I think it'll close the app first. I mean, I suppose it should. There you go, and you'll open the. Oh, come on. Yeah, I really like this N4, the Nexus 4 emulator. It's so much faster. And it's not. It doesn't even kill my computer. The other one is, oh god, it just massacred. That was a really brilliant suggestion. Thank you. And I would recommend everyone doing that too. Don't run that N5. That kills your machine. So we're just logging in. Now, the next step after logging in should be, clicking on the settings, the menu button, the burger button, which was the settings, which is the menu button. And then, wait, what? What happened? It just logged me in. That's it. Oh, no wonder, because I forgot to create the page factory for that. Shoot. Okay, that was my fault. I need to create a page factory first, so that it. So you see, I didn't initialize the elements for navigate menu, and no, but this is logging in. I did do that. Yeah. Wait. Oh, because
Because after logging in, you didn't do anything else.
no. It's because I put it inside the other. You see, the test logging in. I had it in here. I had it in here, and I was calling the other. Oh God.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so this is another class. So this is the class we're calling in. Oh God. Okay, there you go. That's better. Okay. Now it should work. Oh. You can actually, if you go back to the command line, if you can see what's it doing. So it's gonna show you the commands it's running at the same time. Action, click, and then it said, hey, look, I'm trying to find this element contains Grubhub email edit text, and then in the background it's doing the same thing at the same time. So you can actually take a look at the flow. It's visible to you. So you can also tell. Hmm, did it fail? Yeah, it failed. So I think it was not able to find the. So let's see where it failed. We can actually it gives you the result here too. So let's take a look here. I believe it couldn't find the settings button. No. Yeah, the button burger dot click.
So it's basically saying invalid selected type. Why?
Oh, actually, here, look, here. I forgot to add this. There you go. That's
Okay.
probably why. Yeah, that's probably why. Okay, let's run it again. Hopefully, we don't have any errors this time.
If you were
And
running 1.5.3, by this time you would have to, close your emulator, start it again, and probably have to,
uh,
restart your computer at some point as well.
that's true. That's true because at some point it would stop running the app. It wouldn't even run the app anymore. Oh, it's such a
Basically. And in between now, you can even open the inspector. I mean, after your test is done, you can open the inspector, then close the inspector, go back to your test. I mean, it's just so much better.
better. It gives you so much space to work with. The other one, it's like you're in like a tunnel and you can't get you can't even move forward, backwards, anywhere. And it's slow. It's very slow.
Yeah, very slow. I mean, just frustrates one. Yeah, I hate
And
that.
it does. I hate it too. So
One
this
of the
command line
reasons
version.
I kind of, stopped looking into Android. What at all? I ended up, spending more time on iOS. I was like, I'm not gonna get it, do anything with Android. But then later I realized that I kind of have to do it, as Mafi Bhai, kind of instructed
Right.
us to do it.
So I think it worked, but it's going so fast that I think I need to add like a sleep so I can see. Um, so after this, let's sleep it. Let's not sleep, but I think it was a thread dot something ad dot thread. Shoot, I forgot what it was. Thread, uppercase.
It is thread.
Was it some
Let
other
me see.
way? Um, Let me check the other project. So since we have a sleep for method here, um, our
It
so
is.
sleep
It is not
points.
AD.
So,
It's basically like a thing, WebDriver or the Appium driver thing.
it's more of a Java core Java thing. So 5 seconds. Let's sleep it for 5 seconds. Five times 1,000 because it's in milliseconds. Okay. Let's run this now and let's go back and oh I think it didn't shut down. No, it did. Then what's the issue?
Just close the app.
Oh, I need to. Yeah, no, I need to. I need to add the exception here too. Um,
Oh, interrupted exception.
yeah. Yep. Um, Alt enter. There you go. Okay, now it should be able to run.
And in the other method as well, I believe, or
Well, I
no?
already did. I already
Okay,
did.
okay.
I forgot to add in the test method. Um, so here, JSON completed, register, crash watcher, connected. Select then menu button on top. Um,
You kind of
and now
are
we should.
referring to it as burger button. I like it.
Now it should have clicked on scheduled orders. I don't see anything going on though. Should we print? I should print. I should print whatever is in the list so we can see if it actually grabs those seven or eight elements. Let's try that because I don't see anything happening after that. So I'm not sure if it does click on something, but it doesn't show what happens after that.
Why didn't it do like sleep for 5 seconds over there?
That's what I'm thinking too. Did it not sleep for like let's see,
Where
where
did
did I
it?
put this? Schedule orders, right? And after clicking, let's try this again, but I'll also at the same time over here add a for each loop um, of web element, WE, and what is that name? List items. So I'm just going to print the list just to see if it actually has all the elements inside of it. Let's try this again. I don't think I have the inverted. I have the exception. Mm,
If you hadn't added the exception, it wouldn't have run, you know.
yeah,
It would have given you, it would have thrown the exception right there before running the test.
yep, yep. That's true. Maybe decrease this time to like 3 seconds. I don't know. Let's see. Um, let's go back here and see what's happening. Uh, oh, by the way, I think I'm recording this session. I think.
Yeah, we can see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I'll put the video on the Dropbox when I'm done. I don't know how much time it takes to convert. Does it take a long time?
People don't do recording through this. I mean, they have their own recorders, separate apps running, or something like that.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I see. I actually didn't know that till the last session. I found out you could actually record using this. Oh no, it does click on it.
It is
There you go.
clicking. There you go. Yes.
So it does work. Yes. Okay. Okay. So that's my solution right there. Perfect. Okay. So it takes a while to convert. Okay, that's fine. I'll probably leave it on and go have dinner when I'm done. So what are we doing here? So let's check the elements it printed out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I think that's the amount of elements we needed, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So yeah. So basically our list over here contains all these elements. So now we can go ahead and actually create a UI, like a proper UI, since we know now that our list actually contains all those elements. So this was just a test to see if it actually contained it. So it does contain all those elements. So now you can go ahead and finish your UI up till at least all the way till contact us. To get after that, you would have to scroll down and take another screenshot. So let me quickly just show you how to make a couple of. So what you would do, you would need to create a class first before you start creating the methods for to call them. So for instance, we have schedule orders. What is next? Next is track your order, right? So you could go ahead and make another UI package and name it UI. Sorry, I forgot track your order. Track your order. And from here, you create another class called track your order. So I'm only going to make track your order, then I'm going to show you how to scroll all the way down and how to click on an element that way. But there's only one way of doing that, and it's not very good in Android. There is another way, but I'm still trying to work on that, and I'll go over that briefly. But it's sort of annoying. For some reason, it doesn't work. I'm probably doing something wrong, but it's that's how most of other people usually. So you'd have to swipe first and then click on the element. Um, I won't add everything. I'm just adding. I'm just adding track your order. Seamless. Um, will I be able to? I won't be able to, right?
That's what I'm asking. I mean, after contact us, I mean, that's what you're going to do, right? You're going to scroll down, and then what? You're going to grab the rest of the elements and you're going to add them to
Yeah.
the same
So
list.
the thing I wanted to check is because technically it's supposed to be under here, right? Under list view, it's supposed to have the rest of the elements too, right? So since
Yes.
this didn't show us, but I think our Android emulator also doesn't see. I mean, sorry, our Appium also doesn't see it when it's on this screen right here. It doesn't see the rest of the elements. So when it scrolls down, I assume it will have some elements and then it'll have the rest of them. Make another list for that.
And exclude the one that you've already grabbed because it's still going to
Yep,
start from zero.
it's gonna start from zero. So I'll have to see in which order they are. So I
Yeah.
assume if we let's open the app manually and let's see. So Grubhub.
And how do you scroll down? Just, you scroll down using like a method?
Scroll to is the same way. The scroll to using exact or let's see here. I think it's the exact one I'm using. So the Grubhub app and why? So you see here, scroll to AD, scroll to exact, and using the text name. So that's what I'm using to scroll. I was trying another thing. Where'd it go? Shoot, did I delete it? Oh, various things. So this is the other method I was using. I mean, not method, but other way I was trying to. So there is this touch action touch action API which allows you to scroll up and down. Swipe. It allows you to swipe the screen. So here I'm basically getting the dimension of the windows. So the biggest problem here that I encounter is that it gives you the dimension of the current window. So if you scroll down, the dimension increases. So if you try to go past that dimension, it'll give you an error. So by what I mean by that is that this dimension. So also, if you so before anything, if you want to see the coordinates inside the inside the app, if you go to the developer options and shoot, where is it? Okay, developer. Okay, I'll just scroll down all the way. Let me go down, please.
Yeah, will be.
Oh, there you go. I don't know why it keeps on moving up and down. Okay, so you
Yeah,
see
I
developer
know it does
options.
it.
It's so annoying, and I think let me click on it and move down. No, 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 no. Why? Why? Why are you? Oh God. Oh please, come on. Okay, there you go. Okay. So in developer options, if you scroll down a little more. So you see pointer location. If you turn this on, this will you see up there it says dx minus nine,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
dy
yeah.
638.
Okay,
So
that's what
this
it is.
yeah. So this shows you the location. So basically, you know how where your frame is right now. So I if I go to let me open my app. I don't need to open an app for this, but let's just for reference purposes. Let me open this. Let me open this. Please. I think I clicked on it again. Yeah, there you go. This, but it's still a lot. You see dy right? So click on it says dy. Don't why. If you go all the way,
You click on do